I want to keep you updated to what's going on in the world. Besides the conversation about Will and Chris Rock, we got other stuff happening. And I do want to update you on that because there has been some developments and some different stuff. And some of it's relevant, some of it's not so relevant. But we're going to get into all that good stuff. So I want to say hello to my people on Facebook. What's up, Facebook? How y'all doing? Welcome back, Facebook. Share this on your Facebook. What up? What up, Facebook? What up, Twitch? I'm about to give up on Twitch, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know how people get people to come up on Twitch, but they're not feeling. I don't know. I don't know how to reach them. I try to reach out to them. I can't reach them. Maybe we'll just go on Rockfin instead. Maybe we'll do Rockfin. David Melford's been trying to get me to do Rockfin for a long time. Guess he follows a lot of people on Rockfin, and it'd be good to put me in the package deal over there. I don't know. We'll see what's up with Rockfin. What else, guys? Yeah, my people in the house. What up? So, Robin Hughes, hey fam, what's up? We good? Sometimes I do a little monologue to get things going. I'm going to save that until we go, just about to go to phone calls, because I think it's more important to go a little bit later in this one. What I want to open with today is something that's very important for you to understand what's happening here, because we got to bring you up to speed about this, because this has been many years in the making. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Biden signed the anti-lynching bill, the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill, into law today. Give it up for that. That's right. It makes lynching a federal hate crime. Lynching became a federal hate crime today. With no further ado, let's go check this out.
It's the law. Okay, yay.
Okay, Johnson, there you go. There you have it. Joe Biden signing the anti-lynching bill into making it a federal hate crime that goes effective today. And there he goes. What did he say? He said, all right, it's the law. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of context before I say anything, okay? This law didn't come out of nowhere. This law, the bill, this push to have lynching be a federal hate crime has been in the making since the 1900s. And I mean literally 1900. Back in 1900, North Carolina Representative George Henry Wright, the only black member of Congress at the time, introduced a bill, an anti-lynching bill, 1900. Congress first considered the anti-lynching legislation. This was 120 years ago. And until March this year, it failed to pass. And it had been introduced how many times? 200 times. It had been introduced, and 200 times it failed to pass. Vice President Harris was a co-sponsor of the bill. When she was in the Senate, we saw her there getting a hug from her husband as it was signed. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act is named for the black teenager who we all know as Emmett Till in Mississippi the summer of 1955, who was lynched, and the men who committed the crime, who later admitted to the crime, served no time at all in jail for the crime of killing 14-year-old Emmett Till. So now, that's what happened. And here goes my comments about it, folks. This is literally 120 years too late. It's literally 120 years behind schedule. And if I was going to catch a flight 120 years too late, would I be happy that the bus or that the train or that the plane finally came? But that's what we got to ask ourselves. Is this actually something to be happy about, or is it literally a smack in the face, or figuratively a smack in the face? I think it's a little of each. Hey, Joe Biden has been in the Senate for a long time. If he wanted to help support this, he could have championed for it while he was there. He was a senator. He did not champion for it. Now that he's president, he signs it into law, and okay, but he was in the Senate for what, 30 years? Was he a sponsor, a co-sponsor? See, there's no talk of that. Only in this article did they refer to Vice President Harris as a co-sponsor when she was in the Senate. They called her a prime sponsor. I don't know what a prime sponsor is. So, I don't want people, I have mixed emotions about it. I'm not saying we reject it. We can't reject it. We have no choice in what laws are passed in this country. And we had any control over what laws were passed or not passed, we would have had this bill a long time ago, wouldn't we? So it's not up to us. But how do we feel about it? How do you feel about this bill being passed? Now it's a federal hate crime to take a black person out and lynch them. Yeah. Finally. You know, at the height of lynchings, some would say there were thousands occurring across the country in a given year. I mean, we know for a fact that police brutality, police incidents where cops kill citizens, a recent report came out to show that number has been grossly underreported by at least 50% of the actual number. And that's in now, not in daytimes. So you mean right after emancipation, when the Klan reformed itself, or the Klan took flight to terrorize black people in the height of that, during Jim Crow, when it was often used as a tactic to scare black people and terrorize black people and just abuse black people for fun, basically, for entertainment purposes. Much more than a slap on the face from a Will Smith. We're talking about dismemberment and other gooey details I'm going to leave out. Then now we have a law that's a lot later than it should have been applied then. It should have been applied then, and it wasn't. So, much later. So, here's what I'm telling you guys. It was a federal, in 1900s, this black representative, he submitted this bill. This was 55 years before Emmett Till was lynched. It's possible if Representative George Henry White, the only black member of Congress at the time, during Reconstruction, had been able to get this bill passed, it's possible that the men who brutalized and lynched Emmett Till may have had to stand for justice, or may have been brought to justice on the federal level. It's possible. But that Congress did not have the backbone to pass it, did not have the will to pass it, and it took 120 years for them to pass it. How many years did it take them to pass the anti-Asian hate bill? See, when people ask these questions, when the black community, when black members, when black commentators, when black activists bring up these issues, people say it's divisive. How would you feel if it was 120 years for you to get a bill passed when there's been thousands of black people lynched in this country. It takes 120 years to get rid of a federal hate crime. I had never even heard of an anti-hate bill for Asians. But I got a feeling it didn't take 120 years for it to be passed in this country. So it's not divisiveness, it's equity. It's just the truth. So what did we say about the Democrats on this? And this is why we always put into a quandary, guys, because we got the Republicans who probably voted against us. I don't even have the voting here. I don't know how many Republicans voted against it, but I'm pretty sure they did not many of them did not co-sponsor, if any of them co-sponsored this bill. So we got one party that's opposed to us getting justice and another party that's slower than molasses. That's what you got. I'm going to keep complaining about both of them. That's what I'm going to do. All right, but speaking of bills, there's another bill that's going on in California. Something monumental's happening. There's a task force in California. California Task Force on Reparations reaches its first hurdle. Had you heard of this? Here it is. AB3121, Task Force to Study and Develop Reparation Proposals for African Americans. That's right, folks. It's an assembly bill in California to basically do what H.R. 40 is supposed to do on the federal level, which is to take a look at and study and develop proposals for African Americans reparations. Well, there is an important update. There was a motion carried today to define the community of eligibility based on lineage determined by an individual being an African-American descendant of a chattel enslaved person or the descendant of a free black person living in the U.S. prior to the end of the 19th century. Okay, so this is important, Johnson. This is important. By popular demand, by a number of black folks, a lot of activists, a lot of concerned individuals who say that the racial wealth gap is not just something that just happens. It's no amount of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps when you don't even have shoes. In fact, the person that coined that phrase, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, was coined back in the early 1800s. It was supposed to be a joke, not a literal thing. It's not even possible. It was a joke. It's an ironic, oxymoronish, type of quote. Wasn't supposed to be taken literal. You weren't supposed to literally say it. To say it was to be facetious, to be a jackass. Put yourself up by your bootstraps. The cowboys wore these little things on the back of their boots. You couldn't lift yourself up by them. So those folks who like to say it are just repeating a joke, and they're actually, with no context, even understanding it's never meant to be. So this reparations task force, once again, here we are, folks. The motion that was passed has some contentious moments, folks. There are people who are saying, hey, if you only make this for descendants of slaves, what about everyone who came here after slavery? Who couldn't catch a cab? Who cops pulled over? Who was discriminated against in housing or whatever, just regular life? What about all those people? And look, I want to say, I've had guests on this show who have argued this. Who've argued that discrimination, if you come to America and you are black, you look black, you get treated like black people. You look black, you get treated like black. That's it. So I understand the argument, and I know that there are folks who believe that and think, and I want to step out, I want to say, all discrimination's wrong. I don't support discrimination for any person, anybody. I don't support it. But to pretend that Black Americans, descendants of slavery in this country, haven't gotten a very special blend of discrimination, to pretend it's not been very specific and very organic to this country and very unique compared to others. Well, that would be being dishonest. Totally dishonest. You know it's the difference between being Irish and being Black. You know it's the difference between being Black and being Asian. Let's ask your credit scores. Let's ask your net wealth. So these are the things we got to deal with, and we got to deal with it because it's America. Not you personally, but it's America. So I've also had people on the show like Dr. Derek Hamilton, Dr. Sandy Darity, Dr. Elwood Watson. A lot of professors, huh? I'm getting professors on this show to discuss these issues. It's not just Tim Black talking. With emotions. I've had actual professors who have spent large amounts of their time studying these issues, and they came to share their thoughts with you. And I support this. I support this focused. Doesn't mean that others can't seek restitution for their own grievances. Doesn't mean that at all. This means that this is a unique grievance to a unique people in a very unique way over an extended period of time have endured some things that have shaped and produced the America that we now have. And I think that's important for us to acknowledge that. Now, here's the thing, and this is the reason why I want to go right behind this one bill, the bill of the anti-lynching bill. It took 120 years for us to even pass to make lynching Black people. Well, I guess this is not just Black people, this is anyone. This anti-lynching bill applies to all folks who are lynched. The fact that we consider it only Black people just goes to show how discriminated against and terrorized Black people have been. Because when you think of lynching, do you think of anyone else? No. But it's not a Black bill. It's not a Black law. It's an American law that protects all Americans from being lynched and making that a special designation as a hate crime. But it took 120 years for us to get there. How long would it take us to get there with reparations? We couldn't even get them to say, hey, it's even with Emmett Till being lynched in front of the world and it being on magazine covers such as Jet Magazine. In 1955, it still took another, 70 years? 65 years? So we got our work cut out for us is what I'm trying to tell you. Not to be, let's keep it 100. Let's do that. Let's always keep it 100. Okay. Let's move on, Johnson. Let's move on. We've been talking on this show last couple of days about what happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars. If you don't know by now, I'm sure you all know. Come on, everyone knows. Everything stopped for this. Everything stopped. It ceased. It slowed down. I haven't heard about Ukraine for a couple days. We haven't been talking about the pandemic. What pandemic, Johnson? Everybody okay? No mask mandates? Jussie Smollett even fell out of the news cycle. Wow. That's crazy, Johnson. What happened with that? That was crazy. I know he was glad, like, yes. Yes. You're not talking about me. That's good. That's good. Well, a lot of conversation about it, a lot of debate. I'm still dumbfounded that there's so much debate about should someone assault someone. Crazy. About a Black person making a joke about a Black woman in front of a Black man that they've known for years. We'll get back to it later. So someone weighed in and I thought it was interesting because it kind of cleared away some of the stuff, some of the arguments. And I thought it was an interesting take. Let's take a look at Jim Carrey on CBS sit down with Gail King to discuss this, and he was pretty direct in his response about what he thought about Will Smith and about this whole Chris Rock thing. Check it out.
The response in the room at the time, and here's some of what he had to say. I want you to listen and then weigh in on the other side, please. What did you think as you watched it unfold, and then what happened after?
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
He doesn't want the hassle. I'd have announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You know, that insult is going to last a very long time. If you want to yell from the audience and disapprove or show a disapproval or say something on Twitter or whatever, you do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words.
No, I agree. I think we all agree on that. I just thought, Jim, that it escalated to that. You know what I mean? That it escalated to that level.
It didn't escalate. It came out of nowhere because Will has something going on inside him that's frustrated, and I wish him the best. I really do. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment last night. You know, a lot of people worked really hard to get to that place and to have their moment in the sun and to get their award for the really hard work they did. And it is no mean feat to go through all the stuff you have to go through when you're nominated for an Oscar. It's a gauntlet of devotion that you have to do. And you know, it was just a selfish moment that cast a pall over the whole thing.
I want people to take a look at this. I want you to recognize that Will and Jim are friends. Like, it's not a hating-ass white dude that don't like Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Because that's exactly, people go there directly. Like, you know, they go there directly like, you know, they don't. So let's temper that response with, he's known Will. He's a star. He's known Will for years. He's not criticizing Will as a human being. He's saying he did the wrong thing. It's also, I like to look at it through this lens because for some reason this has turned black people against black people and black women against black men and black men against black women, I guess. I don't know. Seems like that's what's going on. And I think someone, you know, not of the culture having this conversation, adding into it, how they see it, what they would have done. So there you go. Here goes the difference between how Jim Carrey would have responded to it. He's a comedian. How he would have responded to Will smacking him in the face, and how Chris Rock did, and how no one's giving Chris Rock, well, I'm not going to say no one. Can't say no one, Tim. A lot of people, I've seen a lot of people not give Chris Rock credit for one, not swinging back at Will, two, for not having Will arrested, and three, not suing him immediately. Nothing of the above. So the conversation has been, to me, has been focused almost 100% on Will's feelings and Jada's feelings. Nothing's on the person that was hit. And this is where I'm going with this. And let me preface this by saying, I'm a black man raised in a black house, married to a black woman who has raised a black daughter and has 2 black granddaughters and a black mother that I love with all my heart. And I would whip your ass if you came in our house and put your hand on anybody I love, and I would die doing so. So if you want to come for me with the nonsense that just because I don't think that Will Smith should hit Chris Rock in the face at the Oscars is a sign that I don't love black women, go fuck yourself. twice. Actually, 6 times a week. 7 times a week, twice on Sundays. Make that 8 days. But here's my point. Everyone's talking about how much we love black women. We need to protect black women. Are you protecting black men? Are you protecting black men when there's a black man who's been physically assaulted by another black man? I'm not seeing any protection for the black man from some of you. So let me get this right. Black women can't take words in a comedy setting on the Oscars. But a black man has to take being slapped in the face, and then you support the guy who slapped him in the face because you don't like what he said. But we're supposed to protect black women. Where's the protection? Where's the equal protection? Where's the obvious protection of one another? Where's the protection of our black children? Not to think this is the model we should follow. Because you know what happens to little black boys who go attack other black boys for words? Sometimes they don't make it home, Johnson. One of those black boys dies. And if you want black men to step up and do their jobs with their children, you got to allow us to be able to control our emotions and to deal with things in a rational sense. And you have to also support that. An anti-lynching bill is a good idea, but there should also be an anti-black on black lynching bill too. And I know that's going pretty far, but the sentiment is what I mean. What I don't like is there are people making all types of headway, all types of moves to increase their social media and increase their footprints online by piling on this thing that protect black women at the expense of black men. There is no protection of any of us if you're doing this at the expense of black men. And that's what you're doing. You really think it's okay to commit crimes? You really think it's okay to attack someone? Another black brother for something he said as a comedian. I think some of you are full of shit. There's some learned people, some influential people who are learned, who are studied, who are just kissing ass because they want to be included in something that Will Smith does in the future. They're checking the posts. I know how you media hacks work. You're checking the posts on what's popular and who is popular with to determine what you should do. But if that would have been a white guy who was smacking Chris Rock, you'd have felt differently. Or if it would have been a disempowered person of any color, you would have felt differently. Who could not give you a job, co-sign you. And that goes right back to the reparations thing. Because until black people have a station in life where they have some economic equity, some parity, economically with the rest of America, we are dead last. Economically in this country that we built for free. And until we have parity, we'll never really know how we feel because we're so hamstringed by economics. I cannot but for the life of me believe we got members of Congress cheerleading for a black man to be slapped in his face by whomever. So it's okay to assault. It's okay if black men are assaulted as long as it's done for black women. And we're not talking about a situation where a black man is physically going after a black woman, assaulting, putting his hands on her. We're talking about a situation in a freaking comedy show where he says a joke that cut too deep. But you love black men, though. You support black men. You don't support Chris Rock. Now, you support some black men. You support those that can give you jobs. You support those that might help you in your social media climb. You support those that may be good for your career. I say this knowing people not going to like what I'm saying, and I don't care. It's because I really believe. But I doubt that if you are a member of Congress and you are supposed to uphold the law, I do not believe that you think for a second in your heart of hearts it's okay to assault anyone when they're not physically assaulting you. And if so, you need to step your ass off the bench, step your ass out of Congress, and have several seats. This has gone long enough. The joke time is over. And that little apology that Will Smith gave, let's keep it 100. That was some bullshit written by a publicist. You know it and I know it. And when the Me Too people wrote them, you called them assholes and liars and phonies. But Will Smith had one written for him, and now all of a sudden it's good enough. And no, it's not good enough that Chris Rock is selling some tickets to his comedy show. Be back here in a week when Jada Pinkett Smith holds a red table discussion and gets record-setting views on that, sister. The hypocrisy is real. Protect black women should be protect black men. Let's stop acting like, I hear it all the time, black women are the most unprotected people in the society. You know what? Black people are unprotected. Us both are in the same boat. Stop acting like this is the same thing as someone barging into your home. There's a way to handle things and a way to handle things and a way not to handle things. And we've taken this incident that is very clearly definable. We learned it in grade school. Keep your hands to yourself. It's something we learned in grade school, or we should learn in grade school. It needs to be retaught because you didn't like what someone said. There was an incident on the bus. Little black girl hits my son hits her back. She didn't like that he hit her back. Her mother shows up on my doorstep with her daughter saying, I had to let her daughter hit my son. I said, I'm not going to do that, man. We're supposed to teach them not to fight. She said, I don't care. He hit her last, so she get to hit him back. I said, well, she hit him first. And if it wasn't for the little girl saying, yeah, Mom, I hit him first. If it wasn't for that, who knows what would have happened? That black woman, you know what she did? She said, I don't care if she hit him first. He shouldn't have hit her back. She's a girl. I'm going to call my husband. I said, call him. You at my house, you see my address. The cop showed up at my door some 15 minutes later. And they asked me, did I want to press charges on her if she comes back? They thought she was as not annoying, they thought she was dangerous. This is a grown-ass woman who did this. Now, I know we all have stories we could tell to make others look bad, but what I'm saying is this must stop. No, she didn't come back. And at least that black man was smart enough not to approach me with some nonsense about letting our kids fight. We need to teach them not to fight. And that's absolutely necessary to defend yourself. Well, just to go and show how, just to further iterate, well, hold on a second. Hold on. Let me regroup for a second. You want a clear indication that you're on the wrong side of this? When the people that agree with you start looking like O.J. Simpson.
Response in the room at the time, and here's some of what he.
Why should I been getting this Will? Why should I been getting this Will Smith from Chris Rock? Hey, look, it was unfortunate. I think Will was wrong. Look, I understood the feeling. Now, in my life, I've been through a lot of crap, and I was raising two young kids, and every comedian in the country had an OJ routine, and don't think I wouldn't want to slapped a couple of those guys, but you got to accept it's humor. The question I've been getting is Will Smith from Chris.
Yeah, there you go, Johnson. There you go. Well, even O.J. Simpson says you can't put your hands on him, but he's wanted to. Jesus Christ. I'm glad you decided not to get even, OJ. Jesus Christ. Will Smith is somewhere right now like, look, man, I don't need your help, bro. You want to help me? Don't help me. Don't help me. Now, this is something I ran across, and look, I don't want this to become the OJ channel, well, the Will Smith channel. This better not become the OJ channel. The Will Smith, Chris Rock channel, but I'm trying to understand how I'm supposed to feel about this clip.
I've been getting this Will Smith and Chris Rock. Hey, look.
Likes to do. So I had to learn to get the courage to just go, nah, I'm not doing that. Which is why I feel the freedom today. I don't give two craps what people feel about this bald head of mine, because guess what? I love it. Likes to do. So I had to learn to get the courage to just go, nah, I'm not doing that. Which is why I feel the freedom today. I don't give two craps what people feel about this bald head of mine, because guess what? I love it.
I'm glad she loves it. Maybe she should have told Will that she loved it. Then we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. So one of my callers last night called in and he said some things about this that I thought was interesting, but I made a little short clip about it. If you were not able to see us last night, here it is.
Likes to do.
Oh, my bad. This is Richard Williams. You know, King Richard disagreeing with Will Smith, saying it's not okay to use violence. That's right. The guy he said he was emulating, that he's learned so much from, says, hey, I don't go along with you, Will. What you did was wrong. You shouldn't hit anyone. Just so that I slide that in there because, you know, we hate women.
Hey, my name's Terry. I'm out of near Memphis, man.
Terry, what's up, fam?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What's up, man?
Okay, hey, man, I like the show, man. I really appreciate what you're doing, Mr. Black.
Thank you, brother.
All right. The first, I got a couple of things. Number one, if anybody remembers, Chris started out with "I love you, Jada."
Jada, I love you. Jada, I love you. Jada, I love you.
So that should be important.
Hold on, man. My brother. Give it up for my brother, man. Hold tight, Terry. Hold on, brother. You the first one to bring that up. He softened. He tried to soften the blow a little bit, huh?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So moving on from the positive, I just want to say, we got people saying protect the black woman. I want to know who that person was who started that, number one. Because if I got to protect the black woman from jokes, I'm in trouble. And number 2, 3, 4, 5, how we've been protecting our black women is by marrying them, paying bills, and fixing the toilet when they need it.
Now, guys, I know that's a joke. It's funny. But that is what there's other ways to protect black women than smacking people. That's all I'm saying. And I agree with him. I'm glad Terry called up. I think it's important to hear that. Who did come up with this protect black women? I'm wondering where it came from. I wonder who came up with this. Because it denotes this idea that we don't protect black women. Yeah, protect black women. Is there some data saying that we don't protect that black men don't protect black women? Where are you getting this from? I just want to know, as a husband, as a dad, as a son, where's this notion that we don't protect black women? Who came up with this? It's a very good question. Very good question. So anyway. And if the litmus test is it's okay for a black man to be sicked upon another black man over a joke he says at the Oscars, come on. Well, that's an invalid argument. That's a biased argument that's based in something I can't support. But should we respect you? Should we care for you? Should we be faithful to you? Should we marry you, have children with you? Of course. Should we defend you as you defend us, as we walk through life together? Yes. But the form that takes depends on the situation at hand. And there are many a dead brother in a cemetery right now, or the bottom of a river, or never found again, who took this too far, who did it in a way that was not only dangerous for himself, but for all others involved. So there's a responsibility that we all have. Yes, protect black women. How about we protect each other? All right, guys. I think that's all I got. I think that's all we're going to do for right now. I want to go to phone calls. Yeah, we can do phone calls if people are interested in tonight's, calling up tonight. It's kind of heavy. I mean, I do have one more thing. I guess I could do this. I thought it was funny-ish. So your boy Kyle Rittenhouse, he's doing this thing. He's out here. And it looks like he's getting his talking points from conservative think tanks or someone's talking to him. I don't know. But he put out a clip because he's pissed off. That's right. Kyle Rittenhouse is pissed off. You know, you know what I'm talking about. Here's the clip.
Hey, my name.
I'm not a racist. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not a domestic terrorist. I'm not a murderer. And anybody who wants to sit down and have a conversation, I'm more than open. I reached out to Joe Biden several times. Crickets, nothing. He still hasn't replied. So it just shows how much of a man he is to not sit down and talk to a 19-year-old.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, Kyle, you may not be a murderer, but you are a killer. That's what they call that. A hero, no. I don't know these people that boost you up, tell you that you are a hero. A hero stops someone from doing something. A hero rescues someone. You didn't rescue anyone. You killed a couple guys. Well, you killed one guy. You killed a guy. That's... It once upon a time, D.C. was the murder capital. And those guys who killed people were killers, not heroes. So anyway, just thought that was funny. And also, it makes you feel any better, Rittenhouse. Back when we had a contract with Black America, we were pitching it to presidents that were running for election. We couldn't get Joe Biden to meet with us either. So get in line. Get your ass in line, Johnson. It ain't just you. But the audacity to think you should have a meeting with the President of the United States. What could he possibly want to talk to you about? That's right, bro. Joe Biden won't meet with me, man. You should meet with me. Hell. Anyway, it's just hilarious. The entitlement. Joe Biden, how dare Joe Biden not meet with me? He won't even sit down with a 19-year-old. Yeah, he won't even sit down with a 19-year-old. Say it back slowly. How many people Joe Biden has snubbed? You are not someone he snubbed. He had no agreement to meet with you. So anyway, I thought that might change the tenor. Got a couple calls in queue now. Yeah. All right, Johnsons. Anybody hanging around for that? Yeah, I guess it's back to... Yeah. I don't know. Whoa. Baba T brings up a good point. It says, hey, I'm going to put this out here. Baba T says Will Smith would have been canceled if Chris Rock was gay, transsexual, a woman, Jewish, or white. To Hollywood, that was just two black men abusing each other on national TV. If there would have been a woman that was on that stage and Will hit her, different conversation. Whether she be black or white. Any color woman on that stage. That's why I'm trying to flip this conversation. There people think that this is not important. I think it's very vitally important. If you're a black man, it's vitally important. It's very important if you're a black woman. But if you're not, and you don't identify that way, maybe it's not important to you. You just see black people hurting each other, and you go, not important. This is tabloid, who cares? That's because you don't care about those people. You don't see it. You don't see it. You care from a theoretical point of view, but not really. Because if you look at what really happened, you see that black men particularly, are very dispensable. If you're a black man, you can be hurt by another black man over something you said to a black woman. And I've heard a lot of insults hurled at black people and black women. I've heard them. They call black women all types of names. That's not what this was. When someone loses their mind, we could even get them to... Now, here's the thing. If Chris Rock can get someone to make Will Smith leave the auditorium after he gets assaulted by this person, Chris Rock can't garner that level of defense by the society. What's that say? I got no shot. My kids have no shot. My sons have no shot. If a black man can be smacked in the face in front of the entire world and people defend the smacking, we already know it's against the law. Gayle King even said, well, no one agrees with that. It's against the law. Yes, it is. But they're defending it. Because he had a good reason. You know, her. He had a good reason, her, you know. Her feelings got hurt. That's a good reason. Are we thinking about what we're saying? Are we thinking about what we're saying? So, yeah, maybe this is trite if we stay on the surface. If we stay on the surface of it, maybe it is trite in this minutia. It's sensationalism. But if you go a couple degrees lower, you get to some real stuff. You start getting the conversations that Silly Boo put it out about alopecia. Another issue. Some other concerns about black women's health. And the lifts that they go to attract men, to be attractive in this society, that they do to themselves that causes damage to themselves. That's a whole that's a real conversation. And so is what I'm saying here. When we get to a subject of, wow, man, if Chris Rock doesn't garner, if we say it's illegal, it's against the law to punch someone or smack someone in the face, and if Chris Rock can't get that protection, man, what the hell does that say about the rest of us? There's always a reason why it's okay to hurt black people. That's all I'm saying. It's always a reason why it's okay to physically hurt black people, particularly black men. It's always a reason. And now we're making that excuse. So we're going, in my opinion, we're going backwards if we excuse this. And I know there's going to be some black people that don't agree with me. Believe me, I know there's some people tagging me to keep telling me that they don't agree with me. I know. Fine, you don't have to. I agree with me. And since when did I worry about you agreeing with me? I don't worry about you agreeing with me. So that's where I'm at on this, and I just thought it'd be important to extend that and make that point. Why does Jim Carrey see it one way and some of these other people see it another way? So we defending black people at the expense of black people. All right. You guys ready? Let's try a couple phone calls here. Let's see what we could do. I know we kind of did a lot of phone calls. Tomorrow will not be a call-in show, by the way. The next call-in show will be Friday. So Just letting you know how things roll if you happen to have been here. This is one of your first times here. Let me get things set up. Make sure we got the volumes up and stuff. 216, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment? 216. Hey. Okay, 216. I can't hear you, so I don't know what to do with that.
Oh, 216?
Yeah. Oh, you just in,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm quick.
Yeah,
Huh,
it was me. This is Tom Thumb out of this is Tom Thumb out of Freetown, Ohio. Listen, you made a very insightful comment just now. You know, cause when you spoke of the crime, I mean of the lynching bill. Now we automatically knew, you know, that's all I thought about was black people. But then you said it's for everybody. You know, and that being for everybody, you know, I said, wow, you know, that ain't just for us. That's for everybody, you know. But also, you know, nowadays, you know, cops doing most of the lynching. You know, they doing most of the lynching, and they got immunity. You know, they got qualified immunity. So, you know, you see where I'm at. So that's all I want to say.
I do, brother. I do. Good point, brother. Good point. And look, and you know what? Give it up for my caller, man. And I'm a part of an organization. It's called the Campaign to End Qualified Immunity.org. Campaign to End Qualified Immunity.org. And you can find that on the internet, obviously. And I'm teamed up with some unlikely allies and some unlikely co-conspirators. Ain't that the term? Co-conspirators, I hope. And some likely co-conspirators who do some real work, who want to see qualified immunity ended. Ended, brother. Okay, so I'm with you, man. I'm glad you pointed that out, man. Thank you for weighing in on that because I think it's damn important, bro. Damn important. Okay, 651, you are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Oh. Hello?
You're live, 651. Go ahead.
Oh, hi. Hi. This is Tyler from Minneapolis. I've not called in a long time. I'm just wondering what the whole like protect black women thing has to do with like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock. I just don't really. I don't really understand how Will Smith going after Chris Rock like that helps black women or protects them in any way. I just don't really get it. I don't know. I just think it's. I just think it has more to do with people feel a certain type of way about one joke, one comment, and they and they decided to make it about something else. I'm not sure.
Okay, Tyler. Well, give it up for Tyler for calling in. I appreciate it, Tyler. Welcome back. Got your DM. Yeah, I mean, we'll let a woman explain it. I'm sure there'll be a woman who will call in, who will hear your question, and she'll call in and explain it. I don't think I need to explain it for women. I think women can explain for themselves why some women or even themselves feel that this was a protect black woman moment. I don't think it was. You know? I'm down for protecting black women. I'm down for protecting black men. I'm down for protecting, black children. I'm down, Johnson. I'm 10 toes down. But I've seen a lot of posturing with people trying to make this a win for them in the political landscape or from the social media landscape, which is some sellout shit. They willing to sell out black men to win more favor with black women. But see, here we go right here. I'm a black man with a black wife, with black daughters, with black mom, and I'm standing up for black people every day on this show, all the time, anytime. So you are performative, oh, well, this is standing up. No, that ain't standing up. Standing up is being a black man paying these damn bills, like Terry brought up. Standing up is defending your home like we do, like I would do, like when there's a knock in this house, when somebody comes to my door. Standing up is loving you unconditionally. Word. Standing up for black women is taking your daughter back in with your grandbabies and not being sure exactly how the ends gonna meet, but somehow making sure the ends meet. That's black men shit. Now this, between these two stars, that people want to act as if they are somehow the epitome of standing up with all this posturing, that ain't standing up, dog. That's performative shit. That is done more for, I'd say that's done more for Will Smith than it's done for Jada or for other black women. There you go. That's standing up is something you do on a daily basis. Shit, anybody could show their ass at the Oscars and then come out 15 minutes later crying like a baby and blowing snot bubbles, apologizing to the white staff. Standing up for black men is standing up for black women because who birthed that black man? That black man who got black daughters as well, who you just smacked and humiliated in his face, who's going to have to live with that his entire life, who's worked damn hard, overshadowing everyone who worked hard for their awards. We haven't talked about that because no one cares. It's the epitome of selfishness. That's the only thing anyone talked about all night. That's all we talked about for 3 days, is this shit. And I'm happy for it because I got to get a new audience of people to find out I exist. But I'm not going to mince words or bite my tongue when it comes to how I feel about something and when it's time for some real shit commentary. So we've been as nice as we're going to be about it. When you see people being all performative, acting as if this is the epitome of showing respect, if this is some level of achievement for black women by black men, no. You should check their asses. Or at least write or make a mental note that they are on that bull. Standing up for black women is something you do on a daily basis. It's a marathon, not a sprint. This is the most sprintiest of actions. This shit in front of everyone. Hitting a guy half your size for a joke. I'm going to go next call, though. I appreciate you, Tyler. Thank you, brother. All right, let's go. Maybe we'll get a woman to chime in on this. Until we do, we'll take what we get. 662. You are live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim. This is Aaron. I had to call in again, man.
What's
How
up,
you doing?
bro? I'm good, family. What's going
on? Yeah, I've been watching different YouTubes and stuff and seeing how all this go. And it's mostly, you know what I'm saying, most of them feel the same way we feel, but it's a few of them, and I hate to say it, all of them black. You know what I'm saying? The majority of them women. And you know what I'm saying? I had made a little comment to a lady named Vicky, and she was just floored that this man did this. You know what I'm saying? She was just so happy, and she just couldn't stop smiling, talking about how he took up for black women and took up for their honor and stuff like that. First of all, Jada ain't got no honor. You know what I'm saying? Not the way she treated that man. She ain't got no honor. You know what I'm saying? So he looks stupid just even taking up for a woman that did him like that. But I would like to say to any of y'all young cats that's listening out there, you know what I'm saying, when I was younger, you know what I'm saying, like in my teenage, you know what I'm saying, you would have women that was like that, because I always been a playboy. I ain't never been no gangster, nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? When things get popping off in the club, all them dudes out there fighting and stuff, I'm in the club getting their girls' numbers. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't even gonna try to play like, you know what I'm saying, I ever been a cat like that. I'm gonna stand your ground kind of cat. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, we used to run across women that would, you know what I'm saying, get things started with guys and just to stand back and see what happened. You know what I'm saying? I know it's a lot of cats that don't went to jail behind, you know what I'm saying, fighting over a woman. And you know what I'm saying, it's I hate to say it, but it's a lot of black women that does this. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, you really don't see, you know what I'm saying, other races of women doing stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know how you used to watch some of the comedians, they be talking, oh, no, you know what I'm saying, that white girl, she gonna step in between. You go, get away from him. Come on, Tim, you come with him. You come with me. You know what I'm saying? I seen a lot of black women back then that would just sit back and let these guys go at it. And some of those guys went to prison over those women. And those women never gave them no money on their books. They never, you know what I'm saying, come to see them. And actually, before they even got sentenced, they was already talking to another man. So, you know what I'm saying, don't be one of those type of guys that become a trophy for these women. Because some women see that as a trophy. Look, I got this guy to fight for me and got this guy to go to jail for me. This guy ended up getting killed. You know what I'm saying, standing up for me. And she really didn't even care about you. So, you know what I'm saying, like, when they talk about, you know what I'm saying, this man defending his woman and stuff like that, it's like the country song. You got to know when to hold them and fold them. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the time to try, not that way of defending her. You could have easily just said, leave my wife, you know, the F alone. You know what I'm saying? And I believe Chris was left alone because Chris said that he didn't know about her condition. I didn't know about the condition. There's a lot of folks said they didn't know about the condition. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen Chris go at somebody for, you know what I'm saying, somebody being disabled or disability. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He just thought it was a hairstyle. So that defense that they saying, well, you taking up for his woman, he didn't know that she was sick. He just thought that, you know what I'm saying, she chose to cut her hair ball. So that's what he said. He didn't know she was sick. So thank you, Tim. I hope you have a great night.
Too, brother. Thank you for the comment now. I appreciate you weighing in on this. And remember, guys, the floor is open for any discussion. We talked about the Emmett Till Bill. We talked about what Jim Carrey said. We even threw in a little Rittenhouse flavor because I thought that was interesting that he thought that he should be able to meet with Joe Biden. And we talked about the AB3121 California Assembly bill that is looking at reparations and a motion to let lineage be the descriptor, like the determiner of who gets reparations. That's kind of a big deal, Johnson. So we got a lot more on the table than just this, but it's still with us. Why? Why? Because not because it's chivalrous or pointless, but because it cuts to our families. It cuts to our relationships. But I got to push back a little bit, brother. Hey, now I appreciate your phone call, man, but I got to say this, fam. I have not been around enough white relationships to know if this is just a black thing. You know, that it's just a black thing that black women, like I think it's a strong statement to say only black women do this. You know, that would watch men fight over them. In fact, if my memory serves me correctly, this is a very European thing. Like, wasn't this like something, the virtue of a woman, the honor of a woman, isn't that something men used to do to the death, like in like Rome or some shit? Like, somebody correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm getting these like trace thoughts of this thing going back a couple centuries where Englishmen or Romans or somebody, they would fight over the virtue of a woman and the hand of a woman, and they would duel to the death. I think this is a very European-centric, Western type of thing, not so much. So, you know, I know we black and we live in America, and so I just want to at least note that I don't think black women have the market cornered on people fighting for them. I think it's got to be at least one, white woman that's done this. So let's not all want trans sisters like that, like to say only sisters want you to fight for them. I think that's enough. I said enough. So, that's my take on that. So when we start getting into only a certain type of people, only a certain group of people do this, I don't know. I think I think we're simplifying it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go to 559. 559, you're live. What's your take? What's your opinion, 559?
Oh, boy, Brother Tim, it's Brother Eric. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, family. How you doing?
Oh, boy, I'm hanging in there. It's tax season, hot and heavy, but, boy, if they've sure been making a lot about this, Will Smith and lapping Chris Rock, and I thought, well, I'll just give a brief thing about that and talk about the new, hopefully, Supreme Court justice. But boy, let's remember, because in fact the previous caller mentioned, kind of alluded to, yeah, she's not very honorable. Well, that kind of goes without saying. I mean, she cheated on him. Here's a guy that's got a lot of money, a lot of prestige. I mean, he's kind of at the top of his game, quote unquote, so to speak. And she cheats on him. Not only cheats on him, but is having his baby, if memory serves. And, what do you do with that? Been humiliated this whole time and kind of thing, and maybe he just snapped. I mean, who knows? It's kind of like a piece of artwork, right? Or like a song or a picture or a novel. Anybody and everybody's going to take what they will out of it. That's just kind of nature of the game. But I'd almost kind of like to extend that to, we could almost take that into a place that I haven't heard too many people take it. And maybe all that stuff, because I think why it cuts so deep is because you figure maybe the stuff that they bought into is just BS. It's kind of like, when's enough? Here Jada had somebody like Will, for all intents and purposes, a nice guy. I don't know the man personally, but, unfaithful. Brags about it almost. And, there's a lot of people like that. In fact, there's a lot of people in many other races. I can attest to being half Mexican, half white. All that stuff happens more often than people care to admit. It's like, man, if I just had the money, if I just had the car, if I just had the this and the that and whatever, then it'd be great, right? Wrong. Boy, I know people that make a fraction of what he does that are probably 1,000 times happier and have been married a hell of a lot longer with a whole lot less, let's call it drama. But anyhow, that's just, interesting to say the least. But I wanted to talk about the new hopeful Supreme Court Justice, Ketanji Brown
Jackson, yes.
And just kind of share a little bit of a kind of an epiphany, a little bit of an evolution of a thought process. So, because look, just like I know, we both have to work for a living, and our give a shit level is just very small. So when you tune into some of this stuff, you only hear bits and pieces of it, and it depends on what you hear. I happen to tune in, and I saw that a guy, this UW Clement, wrote a letter against Ketanji Brown Jackson, saying that, she ruled against, the Ross v. Lockheed case, ruled against a lot of guys for a settlement. Thought, you know what? Oh, this union busting, Phil Fowl, just another one. Now, to me, before I knew any of that, I would have actually preferred her. I didn't like her, not just, throw all that stuff out. You know what? I'd like somebody from a state school. Seriously. University of Michigan, University of California, something other than an Ivy League private school. That's what I would like. How about South Dakota State? How about an HBCU law school? Aren't they good enough to be a Supreme? Something different other than that ilk of Ivy. But, hey, regardless, but then, I started tuning in a little bit more because like, well, no, wait a minute. This, people are going in hard, both sides. I mean, she's either the second coming of Christ or the devil incarnate, just kind of like they all are, right?
Right.
And I said, wait a minute. Okay, something's got to be more. And you turn out she's got we could do worse, a whole lot worse. In fact, she's got a pretty decent track record when it comes to labor relations. Ruled against the Trump administration when they try to keep when he tries to keep his, stuff about January 6th I think, when, trying to keep that under wraps and, just back and forth, but just from what I've been able to kind of glean, been fairly nuanced. When it came to, like, with that Lockheed case, she actually ruled against it in order to prevent later on them getting screwed. So it's kind of, well, I could rule in your favor, but then all of a sudden to have it get overturned by an appellate court, I'm not going to do that. Guys, go to the drawing board. Let's get this stuff tighter, then come back to the table, and then we might be in business. But until that, look, you got to go back to the drawing board. That was at least my take. And I think I just kind of thought, I can't be the only one, just wanted to share that because, like, hey, what we think we know, we only know what we're presented because we have a limited time to pay attention to this stuff. I mean, I think, because, hey, there's people that can and people that do. Those are probably the people that live off of, that don't have to work for a living, right?
Right. Or this is their job, which they do it to varying degrees of effectiveness. Right. I feel you, man. I feel you.
Exactly. So yeah, just wanted to share that, but just let's keep on keeping on. Hey, it's fun to, talk about old Will and that. And I mean, I seem to remember Sidney Poitier was honored in the Oscars. That seemed to overshadow that. He won, won the award for Lilies of the Field, and pretty interesting movie, but Will supporting somebody. So
yeah.
Whatever. Anyhow, man, hey, take it easy. You guys have a good one. Stay safe, man.
You too, man. You too. Brother Eric, thank you for the phone call, man. Changing the pace up a little bit. I appreciate that. Nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's an open forum. Let's talk about Ketanji, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson for a minute. I covered this, folks, because I wanted to try to give my people a deeper understanding of what was happening with her. What this is up. People are talking. They're not really talking to the meat of it. I wanted somebody to ask her about this case. I'm sitting like, when I didn't watch the entire proceedings, right, the hearings, but I kept looking to see if they were going to ask her. No one cared about the 5,500 black employees, the class action lawsuit, and one of the biggest companies, Fortune 100 companies in the country. Lockheed Martin. No one cared to ask her about her ruling in that. So if that doesn't show you the level of them not really giving a damn, what does? Ted Cruz didn't ask about it. Josh Hawley didn't ask about it. None of these Republicans. None of them. Not a single one of them asked her about it. But they want to talk about, what about this case, about this individual person who you only gave 5 years instead of 8 years? That she did find, find guilty, and she did give time to, but didn't give enough time to. But we got 5,500, a class action lawsuit, about 5,500 black employees at Lockheed Martin, class action lawsuit. She strikes it down. She rules against it. Some say she dragged her feet on it, so they could not appeal. But Brother Eric pointed this out, like, okay, well, maybe it was because she thought it would get thrown out. And that's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear her response on it, because there are different schools of thought on why she did it. Now, we know there's the first ever Alabama circuit judge, black Alabama circuit judge, if I'm not mistaken. Is that the right state? There's a judge who wrote a letter to Joe Biden imploring Joe Biden not to select Ketanji Brown Jackson. So he thought strongly enough about it that he was going to write a letter that his name will be forever attached to. He said, I want a black woman on the bench, just not her. There's others, don't pick her. And he cited his reason is this case. So I wanted to know about this case. But at this point, folks, please, if anybody knows, has there been a thoughtful discussion in corporate media, or has anyone questioned Ketanji Brown Jackson on this? I can't find her a direct response. I can't find a direct questioning and a direct response on this. Because I think it's important, Johnson. Not that we have a say, right? We don't get a say in this. But I'd like to know why she made that decision. So they want the sensationalism, man. I try to give us and share with you all something that's actually substantive. I don't always, I try to keep it light. I try to keep it interesting, but we got to walk away knowing something more than people who don't take time for it. We got to have something to put in our memory banks. We got to be informed. Because just because you black don't mean you got our back. All skin folk and kinfolk, so I got to hold you accountable. I got to ask tough questions. It's not that I don't love women or black women. It's not that I don't love black women, but we got to look and see what kind of black woman you are. Because there are other black women who are qualified. But see, it becomes this thing, guys. This is what I'm talking about. It becomes this thing. If you don't support this particular black woman, you don't love black women. And that's not the case at all. Maybe I love black women so much, I want to make sure the white black woman is being chosen to represent those black women. Why come it can't be seen that way? Why can't it be looked at that way? That's the only way that I'm trying to give it. But, the people that bash seem to win. Because you know what? Because it's expedient. It's expedient for their social media accounts. It's expedient for their brands. It's expedient for their cachet and their reputations, yo. That they paint anyone who questions it as a woman hater. That's easy to put in your head. People don't want in their head that maybe they ask this question, but they mean well. They want to know, but they mean well. They want to dig further, but they mean well. But see, they'll poison you. And say you don't love these people, you don't care, you are hateful, you are against them. As if I want somebody, I don't want somebody who's going to fight for us. I do want somebody who's going to fight for us. I do want somebody who's going to be a champion, who's going to want justice for us. Why would I not? I got kids. But that's not enough. People will believe you don't care based on no evidence whatsoever. Instead of questioning themselves, questioning what their motives are, and if they're being logical and sensible, if they're using an adequate level of analysis, they just paint you as a hater. So easy, hater. Hey, man, you sure you want to wear that? Hater. Nah, man, your fly's down. Oh, hater. You can be wearing pants too big for you, dragging on the back of your heel. Hey, man, your pants, man. Hater. Nah, man, you walking on your cuff. Not hating on you, I was telling you. Like, people just immediately consider everything a hate. I'm going to go to the next call, man. 312, you in the house? 312, you live. What's your name? What's your comment? Level of analysis. 312.
Hey, Tim, what's up?
Tony, okay. What's going on, Tony?
Oh, Tim.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim.
Hey, Tony. What's your comment, Tony?
So, I grew up being bullied by my brothers. And I've had many moments in my life where I've wanted to slap somebody who offended me in some way. But that is the wrong thing to do. And instead, I will let it go or make a snide comment instead. And Will Smith is 22 years older than me, and he should know better than that. He actually has the same birthday as me, and the man's 51 years old. He should know better than that. Being famous makes people so arrogant and entitled and just high on their own self-esteem and arrogance that they think that they can do anything and get away with it. And he did. He won an Oscar on the very same night. He ruined his career. And what's horrible about that is he ruined the night for all the other artists out there who won Academy Awards. There were 4 actors who won Oscars, 2 screenwriters, the director, and many other people. And no one's going to remember what they said on stage. No one's going to remember what the deaf actor who won supporting actor said. And the woman from West Side Story is like the first queer woman to win an Oscar. No one's going to remember that. And, you know, people will think that this is not an important story because they're more important than something in the world. But I think there's a lot to discuss here. The issue of race. How would this be different if there was two white men, you know? I just think that people have said that he should have nothing taken away, and I don't think I agree with that. Because the category is best actor. It's not best person or best father, best husband. It's best actor. It's judging his acting, not him as a person or a character. So I don't think I agree with that. Because that would open up a whole can of worms of taking back awards from singers and actors and artists who are horrible guys. And I don't think I want to go down that road. Yeah, but this is a fascinating topic.
Wow.
Because I love movies, and it's one of my favorite things, and so I like watching the Academy Awards, and I want them to tell funny jokes, otherwise the show is just boring. But I don't like seeing this. I've been watching your show the past 2 days, and I've lost a lot of sleep because of it. And I'm going to give the mic back to you.
All right, brother. Well, thank you, Tony, for calling up, man. Wow, brother. Yeah, I want people to know that there are people who this affected in a way. It's like cuts to some things. Good points there, Tony. That's good things to consider, I think. Wow, I don't know what to say to that exactly. I mean, I think that So I can respond to this. The Academy has a decision to make because they put these rules in place. There are some rules about how you conduct yourself. They made them up. Like, okay, so when the Me Too movement really took off, and we start scrutinizing, finally they started scrutinizing. I mean, man, there's been a casting couch and a bunch of horrible harassment and quid pro pros and all types of stuff in Hollywood forever, okay? So they finally decided we're going to start holding men accountable for, demanding things of women so they can get acting roles or whatever. So the Academy adopted some language and some clauses that say if you participate in certain conduct, we could take your award. So they have to look at this because if you don't take a guy's award, an actor's award back or rescind it, if they hit somebody at the award ceremony, like who can you go after type of thing. Like, so it's almost like their hands are kind of tied. And believe me, they would rather they not be tied with Will Smith. I mean, if you didn't see this happen, bro, you never would have just in a million years thought this would happen. Not these guys. Like, you thought maybe some people might get into it at like a hip-hop show or something, like with the Source Awards? Back in the day, there was a fight at the hip-hop, like some rappers got to fight at an award show. But you never would have thought this would happen like this. Chris Rock and Will Smith, man, I got pictures of these guys hanging out. And Jada. The three of them together. So it's just crazy. But I'll let someone else kind of tackle the rest. I talk a lot. I don't want to talk too much tonight, if I can help it. But, yeah. Let me move on to 209. 209, you alive. What's on your mind, 209?
Hey, what up, Mr. Black? This is Omar.
Omar, what's up, brother?
Hey, I got quick points. The security was weird because they usually stick to a script, right? So once they saw Will Smith get up, they should have been like, "Oh shit, this shit is not in the script. Let's do something." They should have responded right there quick. Second thing, I don't know if you've seen Set It Off, the movie. The way that she looked at Will Smith get there's some eerie connection with, I don't know, it's kind of weird, but and on the Matrix too, she wants to be like in a dominant position. I don't know, but the way, and another thing, the way that Will Smith walked when he smacked Rock and he walked away, the smirkiness on his face was evil. I don't know how to say it. And the last thing that I want to say is I have a niece that she's paralyzed, and she saw that shit, and she told me something that broke my heart, because she told me that because I had to explain what was going on, and I told her that she made fun of her because of her hair loss, and she's going through something medical. And my niece, she's paralyzed, and she said that if I had the chance to trade my sickness with her, I'll do it, because she just wants to walk, and that shit just broke my heart. And I'll let you go. I love you all, and have a good night. Thank you, Mr.
All right, brother. Man, broke our hearts too, brother. Thank you, Omar, for the phone call, man. He said his sister. His sister, guys. Omar, send your sister our love, okay? And I don't know what to say. Yeah. Okay. So sorry to hear that. Thank you for weighing in, Omar, with your thoughts on this, man. I don't know about those other things that you said that Jada did. The Matrix set it off. I saw both of them. I am a Jada Pinkett fan. At least I was. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was good, and I also liked her in Collateral Damage. And she's been a couple other things. Never had anything against her, just all this weirdness. And I just don't get it, what's going on with this. But those are roles. So this is real life. I don't like the way Will walked off either. I don't like how he was acting like it was cool. See, I love us. I love, I'm not, And I'm someone who, I'll be very upfront on this show, I disagree with certain jokes that Chris Rock has made. I'm one of the few people that did not like that joke Chris Rock made about there's black people and N-words. Because people have used that joke for the last 20 years to go after black people. Using his joke. I never liked it. I thought that was very irresponsible and reckless for him to do that. That's what I thought, for a cheap laugh. But it's one of his most famous jokes. Do I like that joke? No. Would I ever dream of doing something to this man because he wrote a joke? He said a joke in 2002 or whatever. Nah. It's crazy. I'm offended by it. I think it hurts an entire group of people. I think it's been used as a bludgeon to black people for 20 years. But do I think we should do something to him for it? No. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Omar, brother, thank you for the phone call, fam. I want to thank Bibby Bowman Rodriguez. Bibby Bowman Rodriguez. And I saw you wrote a comment and then you deleted the comments. But Bibby, I got to thank the hell out of you. Bibby Bowman Rodriguez. Bibby, what's up, sister? What up? Thank you for supporting this show. Keep the lights on and all that stuff, man. I didn't expect that. Thank you so much. I guess somebody doesn't think I hate women. I hate black women. I'm glad you don't see it that way. Been really disappointed lately. Been really disappointed at some people lately. You think, a couple people come at me personally. over this. Because I don't side with Will Smith. That means I don't side with black women. You know, me and Mrs. Black live in the same house and we don't got no friends. All right? So I don't know what's your level of, and what my children get to see, and my children include black women, what they get to see us model is not what they've been modeling. Is that protecting black women? Is that protecting black children? What they've been seeing? So we want to play respectability politics? Is that what we want to do? We really want to do that? You got to pick somebody else. You got to pick somebody else. So let's not go there. Because we could go there. I choose not to. We could get really real. People in my DMs, people that at me, we get really real about how black certain people are, or how their actions protect who they protect. Okay? Because we can do that. We can have that conversation. People don't really want to talk. They want to talk, but they don't want to talk, Josh. They don't want to talk, man. I'm gonna go next call, 732. You live. Save me from myself. What's your comment?
I'm not protecting myself. Oh, come on. Hey, come on, man.
What's your comment, 732?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What's your comment, 732?
What's my comment?
Yes. Why'd you call?
My comment is, why does it have to be black versus white? Why can't we get along? And why does it always have to be that way? It doesn't.
What are you talking about?
It doesn't have to be
What
that
are you
way.
talking about? In regards to what?
I'm talking about the lyrics. I'm talking about lyrics, my man. It doesn't have to be black versus white or any indiscretions in between.
Man, what are you
like,
talking
we
about?
all live
Are you drunk? Dude, are you drunk or high? What are you on, bro? What's that got to do with what we're talking about?
Now that you ask.
Yeah, I'm asking.
I'm kind of drunk, but I thought you were kind of drunk.
So we got a disrespectful, troll-ass, cornball white boy calling up on this show with nothing important to say. Nothing at all. Why can't we get along? I don't know, because you made us slaves, dumbass. Because you wouldn't give us bank loans. Because you still undervalue our homes. Because you support cops that kill us in the streets. Where can we begin? Where should we begin? Because you call my show like an asshole. But you ask a question, why can't we all get along? Isn't it always funny but you know what? You don't speak for all white people. You speak for yourself. And you are an imbecile. You speak very badly for yourself. But at least you only speak for yourself. I'm going to let you just speak for you. Why can't we all get along? I got such a list. Who's that? So, you know what's funny about this, guys, is when people like him say, why can't we all get along? He's never talking about the shit that's done to black people. Basically, what he's saying is, shut up and take it. Yeah, when white people say, why can't we all get along? What they're really saying is, we know you're suffering, just shut up and take it. Stop complaining so loud about what we've historically done to you. Yeah, I can't hear my Oreo Speedwagon over your complaining. I was listening to some cool guitar solos, man, and I can't hear them because you keep complaining about your kids dying during childbirth. You keep complaining about your women dying on the operating table. I can't hear my I don't know. I can't hear my Butch Cassidy I can't hear my remake of the Partridge Family. Yeah, I can't hear my Three Sons playing on rotate. I can't hear my Golden Acres. Oh, God. I can't watch my Baywatch specials. My Sex and the City specials. John Apatow movies aren't playing. They aren't playing in reruns because I got to listen to you. It's funny, Johnson. Yeah, one amazing thing about this show, Johnson, there will always be the unexpected. So if you're new to the show, I'm going to tell you, you're going to have fun because occasionally we get trolled. Because we incite violence. It's like they wake up and they choose violence and they call this show. 424, you are live, 424. What's going on, 424?
Hello, Tim. Hello, Tim. How are you?
I'm good, fam.
This is Lassie Odin. And I'd like to talk about the DSA. We are
I want to need you to stay focused on similar topics that we're talking about, brother. You've called several times. You're hard to understand what you're saying, but worse than that, it's about topics that we don't even know about. It's like, and I'm not saying people can't call with topics we don't know about. But Ali, I've yet to understand, you've yet to fully communicate a thought. If you call this like your fourth time calling, and I don't mean to be an asshole, but if you're going to call a radio show, you got to have a thought, a cohesive thought to it. So I'm going to give you one more try, Ali, because I'm wondering why you keep doing this. If you can't call with a cohesive thought, I'm not going to let you comment. So I'm going to go back to you, Ali, and we'll give you an opportunity for us to get your point. Because when you call a radio show or an internet show or a podcast that takes callers for free, you have to speak so that the audience knows what you're talking about. One more time, Ali. Let's go back to Ali. Give him a fair chance. I'm going to give him a fair chance. Go ahead, Ali. What were you talking about?
I was talking about the DSA and how they are trying to get Jamal Bowman revoked from office because of his acceptance of J Street money to go to Israel. Hello?
I'm listening, brother. Go ahead, brother. What about Jamal Bowman? What's going on? Yes, go ahead.
He's being trying, the DSA in the South are trying to oust him from his job because he took J Street money to go to the occupied territory in Israel, and that's unacceptable. And there are several members in the DSA that are they are putting it out there, and I enjoy seeing that it's out there.
All right, brother. I gotta. I don't want to be the bad guy. Hey, man, blogs are good too. Blogs are good. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's better to type it up, put it on Medium. Anybody can create a Medium account where they type up their words, they put them on Medium, and people can read it. It's free. It's a free platform to use that. Not everyone has to vocalize. And not everyone's going to be good at vocalizing a point of view that can be absorbed by the masses. So let's consider that. Let's consider that Tim has a show. This is not, you're talking to me personally. You're talking to Thousands of people when you call this show. Eventually, not now. At least 1,000, a couple thousand people are going to hear this on YouTube, but then they're going to hear it on Blog Talk and on iTunes. This goes out to a lot of people. Get it together, brother. But please consider, maybe it would be better for you if you typed up your thoughts and pasted them and copied them and put them up on the internet. I'm going to go to my next call, Johnson. 704, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
This is D. Ben Israel from Charlotte, North Carolina. How you doing tonight, son?
I'm good, fam. What's up?
Yeah, I find it ironic and that nobody's making a connection between the lynching bill and black women seeing the need to feel protected or be protected by black men. So the irony is with lynching comes from Willie Lynch in the 1700s. And one of the first things Willie talked about in Breaking the Slave was destroying the black male image. I kind of mentioned that last night when I called in. And the reason that Willie Lynch said to do that is because it was for good economics. We're going to destroy the black image. Ironically, also, Denzel quoted this in The Great Debaters. He quoted Willie Lynch in The Great Debaters talking about this very thing. So now we fast forward, and black women are screaming this dysfunction on TV was somehow protecting them. I was married to a black woman for 20 years. Like you, 4 kids, a grandchild. I got 2 daughters and a granddaughter. Been protecting black women all my life. Went to a historically black college. Always been protecting black women. And somehow assaulting another black man is protection. It's dysfunction. But we got to look at the source of it. Because all of this started, somebody asked, when did this start? It may have been you. When did this start? It's a trope just like everything else. It's a trope to continuously destroy the black male image. Black men aren't doing this. Black men aren't doing that. But we're the least protected demographic in the country is black men. We aren't protected by anybody, including our own women. Even though we have to stand up and die for them, they won't even listen to us. That's the irony. But Willie Lynch started this in the 1700s by destroying our image, by tarring and feathering us and ripping us apart. And we saw this play out as we were kids growing up with Roots. Because when Kunta was getting whipped on Roots, they showed the faces of the black women and the older black men watching this happen. That's the same thing Willie Lynch described in his book, played out on TV. Now we're seeing it again. They're pitting one man against the other, light skin against dark. All of that whole plan that Willie Lynch described, we've been living in it. We would do it to ourselves. And that's what we're doing. That's what he predicted will happen. That's where it started. And all so they can have good economics and sleep well, quote unquote. That's where it comes from.
My brother, give it up for my man Ben Israel, man. Got you, brother. Appreciate it. I did start thinking about those Negro fights, those ones depicted in Django. It did cross my mind. But since Chris didn't fight back, but this is something, it appeared to be something Will did. It's what Will did. Gosh, brother, you got real deep on that, man, and I appreciate it. And I was leaving it a rhetorical question about who started this protect black women, because once again it denotes this idea that we don't protect black women, and I don't know if I personally don't agree with it at all. I'm sure there are instances of violence and failures of individuals, but we can find that for everyone, right? We can find those instances with everyone for all groups of people. So, it's like it's turned on us when I would think it would be more of a societal thing in general. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. But it seems like the barrel of that gun is always pointed at black men. And I don't want to discuss it to the point. I want to be careful in how I frame it, because I don't want to attack black women I don't want to do the same thing by attacking black women over it who had nothing to do with it. Like, I had nothing to do with being a lack of protected or what I'm saying is I have no I'm not seeking to do to others what is being done, I feel is being done to us. You get what I'm saying? I know you get it. Man. Sometimes I have the ability of explaining something 10 times when it only needs to be explained once. You already got it. I think you already get it. So I appreciate you calling up, fam. I appreciate it. And, I got another call. My bad. Someone else came through. Let's see who this is. We got a 443 number in the house. 443, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment? You're live. I know you just called up, but I saw you there. And they are gone. Maybe they didn't want to. My cue doesn't tell me if you're a listener or if you want to talk. So I know some people, they call the show to hear the show, because you can hear the show over the phone. And some people, if they're on the road, they might call the show while they're traveling. I got some truckers who call into the show and listen to the show via their phones. And they just dial up to the number and they get the show. So that's how that works. Just this system is so damn old, it doesn't tell me that. There should be a way that you could say listener only. And then you could just chill out. So let's go to Bobby T. Will Smith would have been canceled if Chris Rock were gay, transsexual, a woman, Jewish, or white. To Hollywood, that was just two black men abusing each other on national TV. Bibi Bowman made a huge donation, Bibi Bowman. Carried the load for everyone tonight. I thank you, Bibi. A friend of the show, Bibi, for a long time. The dude, a lot of respect on what you do. You ever think of doing a podcast with Brother Ali? I don't know, Johnson. I'm not really familiar with Brother Ali like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm open to having a conversation, no doubt. Where's pig tactics? Will don't slap Chris to defend black women. He did it for himself and his ego. That's how I see it. Because you don't get to. We're too old to say our women made us do it. We're too old for that. We don't get to put it on black women. So we can't do that. When we were young and silly, when I was young and silly, a young man not knowing these things, maybe then you can say you were hoodwinked, you're bamboozled, you got your eye, you're enamored by this black woman, this young girl, you're young, she's young, your nose is wide open, so to speak. That's what they call it, right? That's different. When you're 50, you don't get to say, she looked at me, yo. You can't, man. I'm not even going to put it all on Jada like that. Mrs. Smith. I'm not going to do that. Because you too grown, Johnson. Your kids are grown. How you going to be like, how are we going to excuse actions by saying, well, his wife looked at him? Yeah, okay. All right, well. But we still decide what we do. So. But thank you guys for weighing in on this conversation and making it about something a little bit deeper. And that's what I wanted to do. And I think this will probably be the last time we had a conversation, Johnson, because is it really going to be pertinent unless there's some new updates that come to this? I don't think there will be. Will we get the first black female justice? Kind of interesting. I saw there was a ceasefire in Kiev. Will that hold in Ukraine? I don't know. I saw that Clarence Thomas's wife, Jenny Thomas, was in talks with and advising the Trump administration or something to that extent about overturning the election results or something like that? I don't. So I got my work cut out for me over the next couple of days because I got to get up to speed on that one. Yeah, I can't pretend that's not important. If a Supreme Court justice's wife is influencing a chief justice that the election was stolen, kind of that's the same thing as you and I saying it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to get all like in a Democrats, Republican type, on either side, but I'm talking about a chief justice. Can't say that's not important. So we'll see. We're going to look into that. What else? Anything else, guys? Look, do me a favor, folks. My email, tim@timblacktv.com, tim@timblacktv.com. Please.
90 seconds.
If you got ideas for story ideas or if news items pop up that you're interested in, send them to me. Because that's where I get ideas from. That's how I form what coverage I'm going to do based on the community. So help me with that. tim@timblacktv.com is the address. I'm Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Tim Black on that on Instagram. And we'll do this again. Tomorrow's a podcast day. I can't skip my podcast day, so it's going to be 4 days. But then I have the day off, and then we come back Friday, and we'll have phone lines open again. All right? All right. That's all I got. That's all there is. Tony D. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about having the same birthday as Will Smith. I know how I feel about having the same birthday as Bell Hooks. No one's perfect. I heard stuff about Bell Hooks. You live and you learn. All right, Johnson, that's it. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Cut the check, and I'll see you on the next one. Wolfpack. And thank you to all those people that support this show. I appreciate you. All right, Johnson. What a night.
10 seconds.
Don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe. Don't be fooled by corporate media talking heads misleading the people. Get your news and information from an entity that keeps it real. Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.
Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.
Most news shows are suspect. They don't focus on Black issues, and when they do, it's all fluff. How does that help your life? How does that help your family? How does that help the culture? They don't. The Tim Black Show is different. Tim Black gives you news for people who can't stand the news. Real, authentic, researched, entertaining, on point. Don't let nobody take your cornbread. Visit www.timblacktv.com today. Get Black breaking news, politics, culture from someone you can trust. timblacktv.com. Join us today.